Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our New Year, New You presentation. It's the starting of 2021, and we're really excited to help on your journey of health this year. We realize that there's lots of information and you may have some questions about what you're about to hear or what you're reading, and Dr. Justine has made herself available. You can text her at 647-987-9355 with any of your questions related to the presentation or materials in it. I wanted to take a moment and introduce you to our three speakers today. We are very happy to have Dr. Justine here with us, and she is an amazing leader at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. She is an advocate for our health. She is also a motivational speaker as well as a writer. She has published her own book, and she really is very passionate about health. I wanted to also welcome Dr. Udani, who is here with us. She is our naturopathic doctor here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center, and she is very passionate about women's health and stress and chronic pain. She really believes that we have a journey of health and that we can always make our own changes. We also have a special guest here. His name is Micheal Coley, and he is our kinesiologist here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. Micheal is on a path to his chiropractic own practice, and we welcome him with all of his knowledge. Thank you so much, and help me welcome everybody to our talk today.
All right. Hello, everybody. Well, we have amazing information. Happy New Year. And we want to start this new year off right. It is still stressful time. So this is the time to say, okay, what can I control? What can I improve on? What can I learn about? So we have coming up the weight loss talk, how to get rid of the COVID-10 or 15 it might be, how to work on gut bacteria, improving your digestion, being able to go to the bathroom more easily, because that is involved in all areas of your health. And my daughter has created a band workout that can be done without a band, but it's all lower body, lower leg workout. It's about 15 minutes long, things that you can do to strengthen your legs at home with very little equipment or no equipment. Heart Health with Dr. Wolfson. This is Dr. Wolfson's book. He's going to be talking about heartbeat, regular heart health. So he is a cardiologist out of Arizona, and I had the pleasure of meeting him. He ended up marrying a chiropractor, so he looks at it from a natural point of view, trying to put drugs as the last approach, not never, but trying to make sure that you improve your tempo first so you have the best chance to take care of your heart. Following, we will have information about cholesterol. I know it always sounds like the boogeyman, but the bad thing, but we need cholesterol. Cholesterol is important for our hormones and for our overall health. So amazing. Dr. Udani is just loved by all of our patients at the center. So she will be teaching us about cholesterol. And I'm so excited to have Micheal with us today. He's going to be talking about exercises coming soon and a little bit about his chiropractic journey as he started chiropractic care at just 8 years of age and is on his way to becoming a chiropractor. So I've been had the pleasure of being in his family's life for over 10 years. So wanted to include him today. So awesome, happy you're here with us.
Well, great to be here.
So, Micheal, what would be our purpose or in your heart when we're at the Justine Blaney Wellness Center? What makes you want to be a part of the center?
Well, to be honest, like being part of the center, like it's very, very family oriented, right? So it's always like a very heartwarming place to go to. Everyone always welcomes you with open arms. It's just a great place to be in. And not only are you able to just get like health taken care of and being able to get care and not only get rid of pain, but like you also have great people around you who are always there to help you with anything that you guys need, whether it be personal problems, like family issues, anything that you guys want to talk about. We're here as a helping hand, not only just healthcare, right?
Absolutely. And everybody talks about, including Crystal, about your positive
Mhm.
energy. And that's where we want to be able to be that positive, that light force for people who are just finding these tough, tough times. We want
Mhm.
to have natural options for everybody to empower us to be at our full potential, even during these tougher times.
Exactly.
What can we control? What can we do just 1% better? What can we do to improve the way we're living in order to make the future years better, but also to lead our family, our young ones, to be the, beginning the legacy for our family, and our friends around us.
Mhm.
So being here is the right step, Michael. And so
Mhm.
happy that you are on our team. What would have been one goal for you starting the new year?
Like, of course, like working out is always great. Making sure that your body's healthy is always great. But one thing that I really do want to work on this year is making sure that I'm able to keep the people around me healthy as well, right? So not only is it just for me, but it's also for everybody around me to make sure that they're doing their best to stay healthy. They're doing their best to stay um what's the word I'm looking for? Motivated, right? To making sure that they're able to do the best for themselves as well, right?
And I love that you start to motivate your mom to exercise more. And
Mhm.
one of the things that we will see Michael do is just drop down and do 20 push-ups at the office in the back room, which is amazing because you can fit it in anywhere. You can make these simple steps here and there. So that is one of the things that we're excited about is just taking one step. And sometimes it feels overwhelming. So today, with all of this amazing information, think about what just one thing, at least one thing that you can start to change as we start to talk about our 45-day challenge. We want to have the mind of a champion. Right now, it's easy to kind of feel like we want to be to hibernate or recluse or told not to go anywhere. But we
Mhm.
can change. The thing that we can control is here. And we want to start with that big why. You know, it's easy to just say give up. I'll wait till it's all over. But we can't. We need to still to grow and to learn. So we want to focus on that big why. What pushes us? What makes us want to get excited, get out of bed, or to make a change in any way. And for many of us, it might be to lead, like Michael, lead his mom, lead his patients and the patients at the office. For some of us, it might be just that when we do get to be with our grandchildren, we want the energy to crawl on the floor with them, to pick up their toys, to chase them out at the park, to go for big long walks. We want to change our focus. So today we want to focus at least just one change in a positive sense, but overall focusing on the things that are good, the things that we're grateful for, the things that we can make a difference and lead to that chain or that bridge of difference as we move forward. So in this presentation, keep focusing on those things you can control. And remember, we have numerous presentations to help you stay engaged because it's easy for all of us to fall off track. Come on. How many of us have not started a diet and quit or started a workout program and then dumbed it down, or it was 5 days a week, it became 3 days a week? This is the time to get rid of those words, I can't. This is the time to say, yes, I can make a change. And the first part is our mindset to make those changes. One of the changes when I was trying to lose and lost 65 pounds was I always put my jeans that I in the bathroom, I hung them up. So once a week I'd try them on. And at first, they didn't go past my hips. And then I couldn't do the zipper up, but I could visualize myself getting back to those jeans that I wore in high school, just to kind of have that ongoing memory. And I keep those jeans. Yeah, they're over 20 years old, but I just keep those jeans as that memory so that I can say I can, right? So that the toughest part, a lot of times when people want to work out, the toughest part, even before COVID, was just getting to the gym, and you need to put your clothes out first. Today, the workouts at home, it's even more difficult because it's alone. So getting your clothes out, making sure you're just getting your clothes on is that first step to saying, I can. If we have an injury, change the workout. I've had people say, well, I have a back injury. So what? Do your arms. Find a different way. I have a shoulder injury. Do your legs. Work on your core. There is always a way to work out. It just may need to be modified for you. And that's why we have kinesiologists like Michael who help you find those changes, fine tune it, find what you need, or look on Instagram. Today, there's so much free, which is amazing, to use the resources that are around us to get those great results. So when we think about that championship mindset, we want to say that I have the energy, and I just need to make that first step. And that first step might be just laying out your clothes so that if you don't put them on, you feel guilty, and at least you get them on. You start, even if it's just starting with 5 minutes, working towards slow, gradual increase, and knowing that find a role model, find somebody that you can follow, find and ask for help. And then in turn, you will be the role model for, like Micheal, for the people that are around you. Reality is, if we move, we're happier, right? If we're growing, we're happier. And this is the time to focus on those things that make us happier instead of focusing on the doom and the gloom of what we can't control. So when we look at it, a lot of times we say, I should change how I eat. I should change my exercise program. I should add more vitamins, instead of I can and I will. So to write out those statements about I can and I will, what I can control, and finding a way to create leverage. And leverage happens when we tell others what our goal is, help them, keep us accountable. That can be someone like Dr. Udani, a doctor who knows your goals and can tweak them and custom to yourself. If it's on your nutrition or your vitamin plan, if it's on your exercise plan, we can, with the chiropractors, with our kinesiologists, with our physiotherapist, we can help tweak those plans to I can and I will and I am. I am instituting this new plan. So as we start this new plan and figuring out our big why, many of us are motivated by pleasure or pain. So for me, pleasure, I like workout clothes. So if I keep up my workout clothes at the end of the month, end of 2 months, I can pick out one thing that I would like, new workout clothes, new sports bra or new sports clothes. Another option is a treat day. You know what? I've kept up everything that I'm doing. It's not the whole day, it's a meal maybe, but I'm looking forward to that treat or that new recipe that I'm going to try that's going to be exciting. Looking towards that pleasure of feeling good in those jeans that you can do up, feeling good of being able to have the energy to do all the laundry, just clean the house, the simple things without feeling exhausted at the end of our workday. So we can look towards pleasure, but many of us are motivated by pain. So what would it be like if you could visualize what it would be like if you don't get your goals? What if it would be like if you not stop exercising, you do gain that COVID-10, COVID-20, and now you're at risk of diabetes. Now you're at risk of going on a heart medication. We know that these things are linked. So to choose your big why, I encourage you to look towards something that's pleasurable, something that you really want and you're happy about. You can visualize and see yourself, hugging your children, going for a hike with your grandchildren, and keeping up. Or something that you want to avoid, something that might scare you. And you think, oh, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be so slow. I don't want to be having trouble just to go around the grocery store because I don't have the energy and I have to hang on to the grocery cart. What is it for you? Find that pleasure and pain principle to help sort of motivate you towards that big, big why. The bigger your why, the bigger and more clear you can visualize it, the more likely you are going to be able to get that goal. So if you look at this 2-page report, it's called your vision. And when you look at your vision report, it is at the beginning has a scripture, but the whole point about it is to find things that motivate you towards your goals. And certainly with SMART goals, specific, measurable, with a time frame, you'll see here that we start with just, the 6-month health goal, a 1-year health goal, and then a 2-year health goal. And then you can look towards a 5-year goal. That would be excellent as well. Hold on a second. That was my mother calling me. I don't know if I lost the whole StreamYard or not.
Oh, you're good.
I can't see you guys. Hold on a second.
We can see you.
You can see me? Okay, I'm just getting back into it here. Okay, that was my mom trying to reach me, but she'll have to wait. Oh, I'm into it. There you go. Okay, so when you look at the vision sheet, oops, sorry, everybody. Angela, can you cancel one?
There's a little bit of an echo in your voice.
Yeah. Muted again.
Yeah. All right, let me try messaging Justine to let her know we can hear her.
Come back there. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So when we look at the goal sheet here, try to look not even just past 5 years, but looking at 10 years, 25 years, and how to get the best response. And so if you look at the vision sheet on the right, the wheel of health on the right, what you do is you rate yourself in all the different categories. So for example, in mindset, maybe this is such tough times. They're finding yourself in a funk or depression, anxiety. Maybe you're going to rate your mindset at a 3 or a 5. Or you're going to look at, say, wow, this is my time. I've been engaging in my spirituality. I've had more conversations with God or whatever my belief system is. I'm more connected. But you're going to look at your relationships or your occupation that's being affected. So you take each spoke and you put a dot where you want. So for example, at the end of the circle, that's a 10. Things are going great. As you go towards the 0 in the middle, that's where that's a 1. That's 10%. It's not where I want. And you can judge yourself based on your chiropractic care, your health care, your nutrition, your financial health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, your social health, as far as the difficulty today with friends, and finding out, okay, where do I need to improve? For example, for me, it has been harder to connect with friends, but we did do a Zoom game night with Jamie Holtam and his family, which was awesome. Yes, we weren't connecting, but we were able to find a different way on Zoom to play a game. So look at your wheel, and once you put a dot in each section, then you draw a circle around the dot to see how balanced your circle is. This is a way of sort of acknowledging, where do I need help? And then the point is to reach out and say, what can I do to make it just 10% better? Nobody reaches perfection in any of these areas, but what can I do? What's one step in the next 6 months that I can make it better? If it's a nutrition, maybe it's I need to give up Diet Coke or pop. Maybe I need to stop snacking as often or choosing healthier snacks. Maybe I need to stop Uber Eats and start to make more healthier choices. So taking a look at each level and just making one choice. In the areas where your wheel is weak, what's one step in the next 6 months with the goal of what's that health goal at the end of the year in order to reach that big why?
Hi, everybody. Welcome, Micheal. It's good to see you here as well. And so we're doing our New Year, New You presentation, and everything Dr. Justine was mentioning, I was just cheering her on because it's so true. We need to find our why. We need to find happy reasons. And sometimes it could be that our health is not going so well. And one of the biggest things we always, and personally myself too, we always say is, changing your lifestyle, your diet can be a little bit hard, especially in the new year. All of us might have these New Year resolutions where we're thinking, I need to lose these 10 pounds. I need to lose these 20 pounds. But we start off so strong, but then, come February, sometimes we fall off the wagon because life happens, right? We get all these stresses in our lives. We have to take care of our families and work. this might be a lot, especially now because of the pandemic. So I want to speak a little bit more about some of the easy ways that we can start this changes. And before we do that, we need to go back to why our lifestyle can be so unhealthy for us. So the standard American lifestyle is actually really, it's hurting us a lot. It's making us so sick. 2 out of 3 Americans and 2 out of 3 Canadians are actually either overweight or obese. So this is a huge statistic. So if you think about me, Micheal, and Dr. Justine, two of us can be overweight or obese if we continue this lifestyle. So think about people in your family that might be having this standard American lifestyle. And the diet, the standard American diet, is actually called the SAD diet because, you know, it's so full of processed foods, so full of trans fats, and really not from very good, healthy foods. So why is this bad? If we continue down this path, what happens is we become even more obese and overweight. So this increases our chances of getting chronic diseases later down in our lives. So for example, some of these chronic diseases are things like diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure. These are all so connected to our lifestyle and our diet. And the more weight we carry, we have a higher risk of developing these conditions. And there's actually a very scary to me personally, a fact that says that from your 20s to 60s and every decade, if you go up a skirt size, you are 30% more likely to develop postmenopausal breast cancer. So, and if it goes up by 2 skirt sizes every decade, you're more than 70% likely to develop postmenopausal breast cancer. So this is why it's so important that we take care of our bodies, we take care of our mental health, and we change our lifestyles. And you know, if this is one of those big pain point reasons to do that. Yes, so the rising in obesity throughout the years, you know, as we mentioned before, 2 out of 3 people are so much more obese, and it's been increasing more. Our children are getting more obese. You know, this lifestyle we're doing right now, when we're always just sitting in front of the computer, that's just really adding to all of this stress and their likelihood of increasing those chronic diseases. So what can we do? So this might sound really overwhelming to you right now, but what we have to do is start in the new year right. And you know, we follow the MaxLiving 5 essentials. Dr. Justine is a MaxLiving chiropractor, and you know, I personally really believe in all these 5 essentials, which is, you know, these are these cornerstones for promoting health and starting in the right direction. So these include, you know, you want to be healthier, but how? The how is the hardest part, I think. So Dr. Justine mentioned, you know, having those workout clothes in the bed, you know, so that you get the inspiration, you're motivated, or it holds you accountable. Some people just need that support from family or friends to keep you accountable. Sometimes, like Micheal mentioned, you know, just you living a healthy lifestyle motivates your family to live that healthy lifestyle. So what the 5 essentials is the core chiropractic. So making sure everything in your body, your nervous system is so important. It's such an important system to make sure everything's functioning, you know, because if you have pain, you don't want to get out of bed. You want to stay in bed. So that's why making sure your joints are functioning, your body, your spine is aligned, it's so important. And then, of course, nutrition, making sure you're eating the right foods. And that's why I'm here to guide you. I'm here to help you figure out what is right for you. And we cannot forget mindset. We must have that positive mindset of that we can do this. You know, it's so easy to go back into that trap of feeling like, oh, I can do this. This is not for me. But if you have that switch of mindset thinking, no, I deserved to feel healthy and I deserve to be my best. And this is the year for it. That is such a powerful thing to have that behind you and supporting you. And of course, you know, movement, getting that exercise, getting that oxygen into your body, increasing that energy into you is so important when starting any kind of lifestyle change. And we also want to minimize that toxins, minimize those toxic burdens in you so that you have all that energy and you're starting off in the best foot.
So some of the barriers, many of us have ways, excuses or barriers that make this just tough. So knowing your consequences, that's kind of like that pain, pleasure principle, is knowing what happens. If, for example, if you don't exercise, you become more weak, you lose your balance, you're more likely to fall. You're going to increase your risk of obesity, which then in turn increases, potential of fat on the liver, affecting your heart, affecting your lungs, affecting your risk of diabetes. Some of the barriers is feeling like you don't have the support. And certainly that's why we're here. But today, you now can do workouts with a friend on Zoom, connecting, or even just a quick text. Did you do your workout? Yep, I did mine. What did you change for your nutrition today? What did you have lunch for today? Just quick tests back and forth can help create that support system. One of the biggest ones is these unrealistic goals. Yeah, like I'm going to be a size 2. It's not happening. There's no way I'm going to a size 2. So, being the perfect 10, or choosing a goal instead of saying, yeah, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, instead of maybe just start with 5. It's okay. Just get the ball rolling. Maybe you're not running the marathon today in the cold, right? But maybe you're getting out for the 10-minute walk. Or like my daughter talks about the activity snack. Maybe just every half an hour, you're setting the alarm and you're just going to walk on the spot for a minute, minute and a half, every hour and a half, just to get your body moving. Choosing goals that are potential for you to get the best results, and then writing them down so that you have more potential to have it happen. We need a starting point, which I hope is today, and then a timeline, that you're going to reevaluate yourself. So share these goals with a friend, or with a healthcare worker, with one of us, so that somebody keeps you in line, and then the end goal. And I encourage you to have a reward for whatever your goal is. And rewards do not have to be food. That is one of the areas that my family grew up. It was always like a reward after a hockey game was like a McDonald's shake. I mean, that, or Dairy Queen. Choose a reward that it maybe is bigger than that. Buying a book, a new support book, a new nutrition book, choosing a time to have a bubble bath, right? Our rewards could be not based on finances, but can be based on something that just makes you feel good, or just have quiet time. And then this whole barrier of feeling like you're doing it alone. And I'm going to tell you, we're here for you. Our whole team is here for you. You want to get some motivation? Come talk to Micheal. Come talk to Dr. Udani. Our team is here. So I encourage you right now is to write down 3 of your top barriers, things that you are struggling with, and share them with a friend, share them with a loved one, share them with us, so that we can help you get through it and get the goals and the vision that you're dreaming for. So Micheal, when you think about what motivates you as you're going through this year, finishing school and getting ready to become a chiropractor, what do you use that helps motivate you in the morning?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things. So probably one of the main things that motivates me is family, right? Like I said a little bit before, making sure that not only am I good, but I want everybody to be good. So therefore, like me motivating myself to do the work in tune makes not only my family or my friends and the people around me a lot more motivated as well, right? Another thing that motivates me is definitely being able to finish something, right? So me finishing something motivates me a lot, right? Being able to finish school, being able to finish not only just work, but making sure that people around me are able to get helped out, right?
Cool. And the whole thing about motivation, I find, is like it starts high, especially in
Hmm.
January, and
And
then
then
it
it like,
dwindles, right?
yeah,
So what do you think that people could do to help, like, keep the motivation higher, or when it's dropping, to pick back up? What would you recommend for them?
I would recommend, one, you can like make a list of things you want to work on, so that when you see them getting accomplished, you're able to check things off that list, right?
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is kind of like, once again, like create a reward system for yourself. That'll help a lot as well. Um, uh, yeah, those are probably the main things I would.
Things. And I agree with Micheal, is also just being aware that it's okay if the motivation drops. Like, it's okay. Also, they call it a day of Sabbath. It's okay to have a rest from our goals at times too, and to give ourselves grace for that, but also to make sure that we have a way to either get ourselves back on track, or a friend to get us back on track, or a healthcare worker to get us back on track. Because when we have that break, that little downtime in our motivation, the key is getting back up. You know, just like we teach kids if they're out pleasure skating right now, we teach kids if they're playing in the snow or they fall in a sport, get back up. We need that same philosophy for the goals, for ourselves. And we need a way to measure those goals. You know, maybe you can't measure happiness, but you can measure your goal, you know, the easiness of waking up in the morning. You can measure your, you know, your energy at 3 p.m., like just rating it out of 10. Is it dwindling? Are you reaching for sugar or coffee at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon just to get through the rest of the day? And has that changed? Has your desire for coffee or sweets changed? Just measuring by the number of times you might reach for that throughout the day. It doesn't always have to be measuring your weight. For some people, this is highly motivational. For me, it works. But for my mom, she's like, it's depressing. I don't want to step on a scale ever. I do not want to know, you know. So maybe looking at smaller steps for our goals and smaller ways to measure our goals. Maybe it's the number of books that you've read. Maybe it's the number of times you had time to meditate or pray in that week. Maybe it's the number of food swaps that you made that week. So looking at a different way of measurement, and then of course having that accountable. Whenever you choose to measure, then make sure that somebody keeps you on track and is asking you about how you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, one of the ways that we can measure in a more statistical way is called body mass index. So this is a ratio of your weight to your height. So this is one of the it's pretty accurate, but it's been used for years. And personally, there are some better ones that are more accurate of how your body mass index should be. I will talk about it later, but this is what a lot of people do use in terms of seeing where they are, you know. So normal is considered, in the ratio, considered anything more than 18.5 and between 24.9. Now, like Dr. Justine mentioned, sometimes this might be demotivating for you to see that number and wondering, oh my gosh, I'm so far out. How am I ever going to, you know, get back to where I am? And this is why it's so important to just make those small goals, you know, have those small habits instead of going to saying, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 3 months. Make the goal more attainable so that you don't feel, you know, your motivation goes down. You don't feel down and depressed about it. And, you know, one of the biggest things I think is changing your mindset about when to start and staying motivated, because, you know, there's two ways to think about it. You can think about yourself as continue to think that, oh, I'm sick, I can't do this. I'm too weak. You know, I'm not made to lose all this weight, or I'm not made to be my best self. Or you can switch this belief to think that, no, you are made and created perfectly. God made you and created it in the perfect vision. You are here for a purpose, and you're here for a plan. And you came with everything that you needed to get better, because our bodies are amazing. They can heal themselves when given the right things in the right direction. And that's what we're here for you as well, because we want to support you in this journey, and we want to help you and, you know, keep you accountable and just guide you in the best way that we can. So one of the best things I can give you is about weight gain is this thing called the leptin connection. So back in the day, everybody thought fat was the bad guy. You know, they thought fatty food's going to make you fat, and that is the worst thing to happen. But now there's more and more research saying that sugar is the actual bad guy. You know, there's so much hidden sugar in so many of our products. If you even think about ketchup, it had so much sugar in that. But think about tomato sauce, there's so much added sugar in all of these products you never even think, you know, could have it. So what does sugar do? So when we have too much sugar in us and we don't use it up, we don't work out or exercise, it gets turned into fat. And in our fat cells, it releases this hormone called leptin. So what leptin does is the more it gets released, the more our body gets resistant to it. It doesn't react to it as much. So we have all this free floating leptin in our body, and it really, what it does is it increases inflammation. So inflammation, is the key for a lot of that pain, a lot of that chronic diseases, the chronic illnesses that we come in. So this is why one of the first steps you can do is to cut down your sugar. So I personally used to eat so much sugar. I had the worst sweet tooth. When I'm writing exams, I would have my Timmy's French vanilla medium, and I'll have cookies and chocolates, and it really did not, I would feel good for maybe 5 minutes, and then I'd have that crash, and I'd feel so bad afterwards. So I personally know how hard it can be to cut down sugar, but trust me, you can do it. If you have that mindset that you can do this, and you just start slow, cut down maybe your coffee for a little bit, sugar in the coffee or sugar in that, and it does add up, so that after a while your taste buds change and you don't crave that sugar anymore. So that's one of the best things I could say is limiting your sugar. And, one of the other things about our current healthcare, and I'm so sure Micheal and Dr. Justine would agree with me, is that it's not really healthcare. It's actually sick care. We come there when we're sick, and a lot of us don't necessarily get better because we just get more medications, or we actually have to do surgery. So the system isn't perfect. It's only for people that are really, really sick. It doesn't promote health. And that's why even for example, in this quote, the care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life is not considered medically necessary, which I personally think it's so not, this is not preventable. What we're all here is about promoting that health, promoting prevention, so that you don't get to that point where you need the surgery or you're on multiple medications just to get your symptoms under control. So that's what we're here to help you and inspire you and support you with. So there's a huge connection with stress and weight gain. We're all stressed these days. Pandemic is going on for almost a year now, and this has become our new normal. So with stress, there's always weight gain. And this is because our stress hormone is called cortisol. Okay, so cortisol is flowing around whenever we're stressed, especially if you're stressed for months at a time. It's just really pumping up there. And this cortisol makes us crave sugar. It makes us crave ice cream, chocolate, chips, all those C words that are, bad for us. And, we crave it, we eat it, we don't feel good because we just ate all these unhealthy food, and it all starts to accumulate and we get this weight gain. So this is why, helping with stress and helping reduce stress can be really good for weight gain, to stop and control that. And, there's some really easy and simple techniques we can do, because sometimes it might sound like it's so hard. If you're going through a really stressful time, what can you do to relax, reduce your stress? Something that I really like to do is to go out in nature. I like to go for walks. And, I find myself so refreshed after, whenever I come back from a really nice brisk walk. I go out to one of the trails, and that just really kind of puts things in perspective for me. And my stress, I really do feel like a weight has been lifted off of me. So that might be something that you need to do. Or maybe you need to come and speak to somebody about what are the stresses that's going on in your life and what needs to be done. So one of the first things you have to do is identify what's stressing you out. Okay, identifying, is it work? Is it family? Is it, something else? And then you might just need to work out that stress. So taking time to exercise or go for a walk or do something you enjoy doing. And, ask for help from friends and family, from us over here at Justine Blaney Wellness Center. We're here for you. And, you don't need to try to do all of these things. You don't need to do it all alone. You don't have to be Superwoman or Superman all the time. You can ask for help, and that's what we're here for.
And so, Micheal, what would be some of the techniques you've used to manage stress in your household?
In my household, one of the main things I do to manage stress is I like before, I do my best to try and keep a positive mindset, or like you're waking up every morning, like you're alive, you know what I'm saying? So enjoy the day while you still can, like enjoy life while you're alive, right? Go outside, enjoy the day, enjoy the people around you, instead of focusing on anything that could be negative, right?
I totally agree with you. My dad always says, is if you wake on the right side of the grass, if you wake up on the right side of the grass, it's a good day.
Mm-hmm.
So to think about it, just the sheer fact that you do get to wake up, it's a great day. And we want to be able to change how we look at those stress management techniques. And some people, it might be just sitting with a candle. I mean, it might be prayer or meditation. If they can't get out for that walk, or they're physically maybe not even able to do it, to focus on the breathing exercises. But to remind everybody that Dr. Udani and I did do talks on stress management specifically and on anxiety specifically. And Dr. Udani does do counseling. So you don't need to do this alone. And if this can be done in the office, in person, and it can be done virtually as well. So just know that you have some options during these more challenging times, but it is also hanging out with positive people, or just going to a positive atmosphere. And that's certainly what we try to provide at our office. So as we go into this 45-day challenge, the reason why it's 45 days is because if you do it for a week and quit, you don't create the habit. So we want to just get past that month, so that whatever the 1, 2, 3 changes you make, they become lifestyle habits, long-term changes to achieve that huge level of success. So looking at that 45 days to becoming 365 days over time. So where this happened for me was when I was larger. The first thing that I gave up was Diet Coke. I was totally addicted to Diet Coke and just said no. That was week 1. Week 2, I knew that after hockey, we went for chicken wings and pizza. Just gave up going out to the bar with the team. I said no chicken wings, no pizza. For a while, I had to even cut out those friends, those people. I had to say no in order to get stronger over the 45 days, couple months, and then I could go back and no problem. They could have wings and I could have a salad. They could have beer and I could have water, and I didn't feel deprived. But it takes time to get. So that's why it's 45 days, is that you want to get time to adapt to this new lifestyle, so you don't feel deprived. You feel like this is the new you, the new year, the new you. So you'll see that we're trying to create this foundation that you build on. So just one step each time, and then you look towards, okay, I'm doing this for 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. So that we create a sort of, whether a goal would be that you're exercising a minimum of 5 days a week. Well, that would be, okay, if you're doing nothing, start with 1 day a week. And next year, 2 days a week, just slowly increasing those habits. If you're somebody that usually has, happy hour, 3 days a week, maybe you switch it to 1 day a week. You're not giving it up, but you're finding a way to modify over a longer period of time. So if we look at the 45-day challenge in Maximize Living, we're looking at adding healthier meals, meal swaps. So for example, maybe instead of pasta, you're looking at a zucchini noodle. Or instead of pasta, you're looking and a ground beef, maybe you're adding chickpeas. Maybe instead of pasta, you're looking at squash. So spaghetti squash. So you're looking at just one swap a week. We're looking at making sure you assess your nutritional deficiencies. I definitely recommend that everybody has their blood work assessed by a naturopath. It's different than when you have it done by a medical doctor. I'm not saying you don't need a medical doctor. I'm saying they provide different services. They look at it through a different lens. And for example, looking at, do I want to be average vitamin D, or do I want amazing vitamin D, especially during these times? Do I want average vitamin B, or do I really want to have the best chance with my vitamin B? Do I know what my inflammatory blood markers are? These are things that you want to be able to check with your naturopath. Have your exercise program set in place. That's why you talk to people like Micheal. This is what I'm doing. How do I tweak it? How do I make it better? Creating that discipline mindset. We did do a whole talk on toxin reduction. And of course, as a chiropractor, I want to make sure to give you the best fulfilled energy levels, your brain and body connecting better. So over this 45-day challenge, you could choose all of these in one thing per section, or you could focus on one section and say, I'm going to make 3 or 4 changes in that specific area. So the 45-day challenge, we do offer the advanced plan and the core plan. Now, obviously, the advanced plan is more difficult, but it's for those who have different things like diabetes, heart disease, high triglycerides, high cholesterol, pain, low energy, depression, who you want to overweight, you want to make bigger changes. So you're doing that Monday through Friday. And then the core plan is healthy eating. Now, if you're at the best energy, your ideal weight, then your goal is to stick to that core plan long term. So if you look at the core plan and the advanced plan, they can be used in combination or separately. If the core plan is adding healthy fats, those healthy seeds, nuts, avocados, olive oil, coconut fat, butter, you're looking at getting rid of those damaged and trans fats. You're getting rid of like margarine, just get it out of the house. You're getting rid of the cereals that are full of junk. And you're looking for grass-fed, wild, healthy proteins, the whole or sprouted grains, ancient grains, and adding a variety of color for your fruits and your vegetables. So similar to a paleo diet, you're looking to have, whether people call it food by God, food by earth, you're adding those healthy foods the majority of the time. If you look at the advanced plan, that is a little more specific, and this is done for a period, and then you can have breaks or you can cycle. If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic, you would use it for a longer period of time until you're no longer diabetic. When my mom had breast cancer, she was overweight. She went on this advanced plan for 1 year and lost 100 pounds. In the same time, her cancer, she was able to be cancer-free. So this is a time where it's no grains. It's totally gluten-free. You're no grains at all because grains turn to a sugar. You're looking for lots of healthy fats, increasing because that makes you feel full. No damaged fats. Those naturally grass-fed, free-range, wild, healthy proteins, and really trying to reduce your sugars significantly, nothing that makes a sugar. So you're looking for low glycemic fruits like green apples and berries, and that in moderation. So when we talk about breakfast, I grew up with the breakfast was the main meal of the day. Eat a big breakfast so you would have energy for school. I don't know about you, but that was like in my mindset. You needed a big breakfast. And now I've learned about fasting that, yes, you want a healthy breakfast, but it can be at just your first meal of the day, and it can be later in the day. So breakfast can be the breaking your fast, the break. You're fasting overnight while you're sleeping, and the desire here is that your first meal, when you break that fast after sleeping, you're choosing the healthiest meal. This is not the egg muffin. This is not the donut or the muffin on the way to work. This is choosing something that gives you sustainable energy throughout the day. Even though if we are going to have sugars, we try to prefer fruits and sugars at the start of the day so you have longer time to work them off, if you will. Healthy proteins, and you'll see in this with MaxLiving and at our office, we try to sell grass-fed because you are what you ate. So you want to make sure that you have healthy proteins to start your day. And honestly, this wasn't the way I grew up. We had egg, English muffins, waffles, things like that pancakes, that are simple sugars that gave you no energy. So here, what we're talking about is if you're breaking that fast, that first meal of the day does need protein, healthy fats, proteins, and greens if possible. So when we talk about the intermittent fasting, this is sort of the easiest way of intermittent fasting. It's 16 hours of not eating and then 8 hours of eating. So for example, this is great for people who rush in the morning or you're tired in the morning. You might have that bullet coffee with your MCT oils and your butter, shake it up. And then your first meal might be lunch and you eat from 12 to 8 p.m. and then not snacking right before bed. So you're eating in an 8-hour window, or maybe it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It depends if you're a night shift. You might change it around and be at night, but you're eating in a shorter window, about 8 hours, and you have 16 hours of not eating. That doesn't mean eat crap in the 8 hours. It's still eating healthy, but you're not needing to have to monitor your calories or to limit your food, which can be very discouraging, right? And to be counting calories. And almost sometimes for many people, if they're counting calories, they feel hungry, they feel cravings because they're so focused on counting the calories. So here we're changing our focus on the time of when we're eating. There are multiple different ways of doing that intermittent fast, and different types of intermittent fasting. And we have done talks on this in the past, and we will have more in the future. There's certainly numerous books and videos on intermittent fasting. It's getting a lot of research on how it helps with pain and inflammation and heart disease and diabetes, and cancer. So please do your research on intermittent fasting. The 45-day challenge with MaxLiving has different supplements. You can look at some of these supplements for you. They are on our website if you wish to order them.
Yes, so one of the supplements that are offered by MaxLiving is called Metabolic Burn. So this is a good, I checked the ingredients, it's a good high quality supplement that helps with improving your energy. And it actually can help with some of the cravings that you might have too and promoting fat loss. So I always say when it comes to supplements, please speak to a professional at the center so that you know this is the one for you. And, we covered all of your previous medical history and all that to make sure that your body likes it and, it's going to work with your body. Another one is pro-L-carnitine. So this is actually an amino acid. So amino acids are building blocks of protein. So when we have this in our body, it actually helps with heart health, helps with our memory, with brain function, and it can also help us have more energy, so have more endurance. So this is another supplement that is provided by MaxLiving that can be great when you're starting that weight loss journey. And of course, Dr. Justine mentioned, grass-fed whey protein, which is so much more pure and more healthier than just a regular whey protein, because we know the source, it's the grass-fed beef and this cows and cattle. So the whey protein is going to be so much more clean. It's free from pesticides and a lot of those chemicals and a lot of the antibiotics and things that come in the grain. So obviously, having a protein shake is great for energy, for building muscle, when you're working out. One of those great, even for, let's say you're doing the intermittent fasting and you're done and you want to break your fast, start off with a protein shake because that's going to make you have that energy to go throughout the day. So it's a great product to have. And, and Justine and Michael, we can't stress enough that you are what they ate. So what you're eating, how they were raised and what they ate matters so much, so especially when it comes to our meat. So a cow's intended diet is supposed to be grass. They're supposed to have hay, alfalfa. These are much more higher in those anti-inflammatory, healthy omega-3 fats. So grass-fed, sometimes if you check in the label, if it just says grass-fed, that might just mean they were only 30% of the time fed with grass. And at the end of their time, they were finished up with grain. So make sure on the label it says 100% grass-fed so that you get the best of those healthy fats into your diet. And of course, the keto bars, these are so good and they're tasty and it's full of good healthy fats that can keep you going for the day. It's a great product, so convenient to have when you're having one of those busy days.
So, Michael, as we're starting to celebrate short-term goals, today we can't even do a high five, in person. So what would be some of the things that you would do or recommend to try and celebrate the mini steps?
So to celebrate the mini steps, could you kind of elaborate on that?
Well, some of the mini steps that we can celebrate is sending somebody a card, sending somebody a text. Hey, good job, a phone call.
Yeah, so those are some great things that you could do. Another thing you could do is you could send a text, you could send a call, but always even just, maybe you're not being able to meet them in person, but you can do it over Zoom call as well, right? Another thing you can do is say it's long distance. You can still send cards, right? There's all kinds of stores so open. You can go send cards and do different things like that for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. And Dr. Udani, I can't see you guys, but I will try to continue. You continue with the limitations of BMI.
Okay, yes, for sure. So, I talked a little bit earlier in the presentation about what BMI is, and it does have some limitations. So, for example, because it gets your whole body weight to your height, it can overestimate someone that's working out a lot, because muscle weighs more than fat, right? So because of that, they might look like they're on that overweight or obese spectrum, but they're actually healthier because they have more of the muscle, the gain. So, and another side, it can underestimate body fat, and especially in somebody that's elderly, that's lost a lot of their muscle mass. The fat and everything can, obviously fat weighs less than muscle, so they might be on the more of the underweight part, when they should be more in the normal. I personally also prefer the waist to hip ratio to be more accurate. So measuring your waist and then also measuring your hip. And that ratio is a little bit more accurate because a lot of us, store a lot of our fat in those areas. So that personally, I prefer more than the BMI. And of course, making sure that you get those daily essential multivitamins. So MaxLiving offers a daily essential multivitamin for men and women. Women and men, we don't need the same nutrients because we work differently. Women, we go through a lot of the hormonal changes. So this is another great product to have that contains all the minerals and all the multivitamins you need for the day to keep you going.
All right, Micheal, we're going to get into exercise and oxygen, and I know this is one of the areas that you love. What are you trying to do now in the pandemic, since you can't, just play basketball with a group of guys right now, group of friends right now? So what are you trying to do in these tougher times?
Well, obviously, it always starts with like making sure that I'm still able to get outside, right? You want to make sure you're able to have that oxygen, get the fresh air, go for a nice walk, a nice jog, whatever you can do, right? Even just a brisk walk, like you, Danny said, that'll always it's always a great way to start, right? But when you're at home, you can always do the little home exercises. Maybe like not even just has to be a full push up or a full sit up. You can just do little crunches and anything you can do to just get your body moving throughout the day, right? Because that's the main thing you want to make sure you're doing. You want to make sure you're not getting stiff or locked up in any places. You want to make sure the muscles are able to have that laxity and be able to get you throughout the day and not be able to get stiff, right?
I love when we know that exercise helps burn fat, right? It burns calories. But hey, if you love to dance, dance. Even singing, is amazing, and it helps bring our energy up and gets us moving. So singing and dancing in the kitchen or in the shower, wherever, getting our bodies moving will help burn that fat. Micheal, what are some of the common excuses you hear for exercise?
The common excuses. Oh my gosh. First off,
Mom is giving you a few here and there. What kind of excuses have you heard?
one is like, oh, I just don't have the time, or let me just finish this show, and then whenever the show's done, you get another show going, and then oh, let me finish this show, and then oh gosh, there's too many to choose.
Exercising while the commercials are on.
But once those commercials come on, they forget about everything that we even just talked about. So.
Yeah. Or, choosing a word. If you are going to watch a show, every time you hear a certain word, that's when you get down and do 5 squats or you do 5 push-ups. When you hear that specific word in the middle of the show, just to get yourself standing up. When people say that excuse, I just don't know where to start, I'm feeling overwhelmed, what would you recommend?
Once again, starting with something that's comfortable for you, right? Because you want to be able to make sure that you're able to do to get that movement going. Anything that feels comfortable. So if you like a specific exercise or you like a specific movement, you should do that movement. Don't let somebody tell you that you have to do this specific thing, right? Whatever makes you feel comfortable is what you should do to start, for sure.
And when we talk about HIIT exercises, high intensity interval training, doing those short and high levels of 20 seconds or 30 seconds, what would be some of the exercises you would recommend for those 20, 30-second intervals, whether it's on commercial breaks or it's while something's in the microwave or while you're making coffee, or just setting an alarm every 30 seconds while you're working because you're getting Zoom fatigue, you're on the computer too often? What would be some of the exercises you recommend?
I would definitely recommend exercises that work on almost anything in the body, right? You want to make sure you're not only focused on one specific thing. So some great exercises could be the sit-ups and the push-ups. Those are always the go-tos. But we can't forget the squats. We can't forget the lunges. We can't forget even if you have equipment with you, it's always great to use equipment as well in your exercises, right? You want to make sure that we're working on the whole body because obviously you want to make sure that we're not only focused on one specific area, right?
And so even walking on the spot or
Cardio.
or even just waving your arms can be amazing exercise just for a minute and a half throughout your day to get your heart rate back up, right? And so the purpose of this short duration high intensity is to get your heart rate up and then down and then up and then down. So you work hard and then you rest. You work hard and then you rest. So when we look at the Maximize Living, they have the 12 minutes a day. The goal there is to get rid of those excuses. We all have 12 minutes, sleep less 12 minutes. And so you would be doing 20 seconds on of an exercise, 20 seconds rest, 20 seconds on, 20 seconds rest. So you just choose 3 to 4 exercises, whether it's squats, whether it's punches, whether it's jumping jacks or lunges or bicep curls, even a bicep curl with a soup can up and down, or shoulder press with no weight or with a soup can in your hand or a bottle of water in your hand. You're going 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off, getting that body moving, trying to get your heart rate up. So for example, if you have no weight, you can do it very quickly versus if you have a weight, to stimulate your heart rate. And the goal with Maximize T3 is to change the 3 T's, is change the time, the tempo, and the type of exercise. So just like Micheal said, switch it up. Choose your favorites, the ones you like, but switch it up and switch the order to make it better. So when we get into minimizing toxins, this is one of Udani's specialties. And I highly recommend don't do a detox on your own. Make sure you have help because it actually can make you sick. And you may not understand those side effects as you do a detox and then think that you're getting sick versus you're actually doing something healthy. So Udani, help us understand these kinds of detoxes and how to get rid of these toxins.
For sure. So yes, like Dr. Justine mentioned, it's really important to speak to a professional if you're trying to minimize your toxin load. This could be heavy metals, this could be a lot of chemicals, because we want to make sure that it's not done too quickly or it's not done by yourself, because it can be really you might feel these negative side effects really too much, and then you want to stop it halfway when it's not completely eliminated. And so what happens is that just gets reabsorbed again. So some of these most common toxins are things like endocrine disruptors. So what these do is they disrupt our hormones, disrupt how they're working. And a lot of this can come from our food, from the fabric that we wear, and carpets. So things like pesticides, obviously, it's found in non-organic produce. Flame retardants, believe it or not, it's found in a lot of our clothes and a lot of the carpets. We have the BPA, those plastics, found in that makes the plastics more opaque, if I'm correct. But it's found everywhere. It's so common. So all of these, when we use it or when we're exposed to it, it just accumulates in our bodies. And the more fat we have, the more it likes fat. So these toxins actually stay in the fat. So when you're working out and you're exercising and you're burning off the fat, it's also important to make sure these toxins are eliminated in the right way too, so that they're not in your body kind of circulating. So Another one we need to think about is called obesogens. So these are found in cosmetics, in toys. So these are all another form of toxins that can actually make you gain more weight. So there's so much to talk about in terms of toxins and removing it in the correct way. And we must do lab testing first to make sure I get those base level testing levels first to see where to begin, how fast we should go with it, and what are the right supplements that can help with it as well.
Thank you, Dr. Udani. And I do find it confusing. There's so many detoxes as a quick fad diet. That can actually make you, have headaches or stomach ache as you go through it, and you can get confused at how your body is adapting and changing. As a chiropractor and working as a kinesiologist with Micheal, we want to maximize your brain-body connection, balancing out your nervous system, that fight or flight response, so that we're able to manage the stresses that are hitting us today, which are huge. And a lot of times people just say, well, I feel fine, or I feel okay, but they're not functioning okay. They're not at 100%. They're still tired. They're still reaching for the caffeine. They're reaching for the sugars to function through the day, or they're functioning at this level and they don't realize they have the potential to function at this next level. Where we see people say, oh my gosh, I slept so much better. Oh my gosh, my digestion is so much better. Oh, I can't believe how much better I can breathe. And they didn't realize that they were breathing shallow because their spine and their nervous system is functioning. I feel fine is not good enough. I feel great. I'm loving my day. I'm energized to wake up in the morning. I'm excited to wake up in the morning. If we have pain, that's a signal. That's a signal that something is wrong. Our body's communicating. But many times there is no signal. There's no pain. It's just a lowered in function. So much like a dimmer switch. That dimmer switch is turned down, but the light is still on. And we have that chance to light up, to be that much more. And with chiropractic care, we're improving that light within us, our overall function. So our goal is to work towards 100% function, improving our connection with our mind, our body, and our soul with chiropractic care by removing subluxations. So Micheal, when you teach patients about a subluxation, what would you tell them?
So if I'm teaching patients about a subluxation, the main thing I'm letting them know is that what a subluxation is just like another word for misalignment of the spine, right? So whenever you have those nerves that come out of your spine, so the nerves that come out of your spine are getting pinched on and choked on once you have that subluxation, right? So obviously what Justine's job is to come in, align your spine so you're able to get the correct functioning for your body, which is what's so important, right? And obviously getting that correct functioning for your body does get you to that 100% function, just like this graph says here.
Exactly. And it's something that you've been doing since you were 8 years old, and able to enjoy chiropractic care in order to now become a chiropractor in the future, along with your family. If we look at the study of biopsychology, this is where they're talking about how stress affects your biology, right? And all of us know this. For example, when we're stressed, we could sweat more. When we're stressed, we get tight, we get more tense, which can lead to headaches. When we're stressed, we could be grumpy, frustrated, easier to anger. So it affects our emotion, and how we respond to our environment, the psychology, as well as affecting us physically. I know when I'm stressed, I can get an upset stomach. In fact, I want to eat more. It's usually not the healthy foods. It's usually the comfort foods, because I can feel it in my stomach if I'm stressed, or I can feel it usually for me, it's my right shoulder. Many of us have that one area, that chronic area. So the study of biopsychology is really important with chiropractic care, because we want people to be mind, body, soul, all connected better, reducing that overall stress on the entire body and how it affects autonomic function, including our digestion or our sweating response or hormone response, and connecting all the different parts of our body, including the parts of our brain and how we think or how we communicate or how we see. even how we hear. So we want to be able to look at how the brain is connecting to all parts of the brain and the parts of the brain to the rest of the body. So like Micheal said, we're experts in finding and removing these areas of subluxation that lower our potential, lower our communication from how our body sends messages to the rest of the body and from the body back to our brain. And when we're under this stress response, whether it's a emotional stress, a physical stress, or a chemical stress, it can damage that spinal cord. So some of the warning signs that we see when we're areas of subluxation, what would see some of the things that you hear when you're taking a history, Micheal, when people are subluxated?
One of the main things I'm getting is obviously pain, right? So pain is the biggest thing that I hear about, right? And what that pain causes is a lot of different side effects. And you can see the one at the top of the list, which is headaches, which I get a lot, right? So obviously being able to talk to your chiropractor, being able to talk to one of us like a kinesiologist and expressing what you're going through and expressing what's happening is always the first step, right? In order to making sure that you're able to get that 100% functioning like we were talking about before.
Mm-hmm. And some of these signs people don't think of. They think of pain, but they don't think of, oh my goodness, that's related to acid reflux or how I'm breathing or depression or numbness and tingling. And these areas are all related. And then it affects how we can function throughout the day. So our goal is to reduce these areas of subluxation to improve our ability to function throughout the day, to have the energy to do the simple things, to work a full day and come home, make dinner, do laundry, add that extra 2 or 3 hours of work that at the end of the day, to be able to have the energy when you get home, you finish your day, to be able to have the energy with the people you love, your kids, your loved ones. So we want to be able to improve, not just out of pain, but be functioning that much better to be able to do the things that we love to do. So some of the home care that you prescribe, Micheal, what are some of the things that you prescribe to our patients to help reduce their subluxations?
So one of the main things we prescribe is a lot of correctional care, right, in terms of the spine. So if you look at the picture that's seen right there, that's what we call a cervical traction unit, right? So we use that in order to create a C curve into the neck, right? And that obviously will help the nerve functioning throughout the rest of the body because that's the main part that's connected to the brain, right? So being able to do the home care, being able to stay diligent, being able to do all of that is what's going to give everybody their best results in terms of how their nervous system works from brain to body.
So what we do is we have patients meet with our kinesiologist to learn the specific spinal home care rehab. So this is a picture of a traction unit to help with the brain stem, the curve of the neck. And then we also have rolls. We have different wedges to help with your posture, different core exercises. And our goal, and Micheal helps teach these exercises, teach you what to do to be at home. So much like the dentist empowers you to know how to brush your teeth and floss your teeth. You need the toothbrush and you need the floss. Well, the same thing here, Micheal will help teach you the tools so that you can maintain your spinal health better on your own. So Micheal and Crystal, as our kinesiologists, teach these and customize them to you. Now, if you need knee exercises, elbow exercises, other exercises, we help you with that, and so does our physiotherapists. So our goal is to work as that team to give you the skills to be able to do more on your own. So some of the first steps is book a consultation with Dr. Udani to learn more about the nutrition, the detox, about your proper blood work and analyzing your blood work properly. If you've had blood work done, just bring her the sheets, let her look it over with you. So some of the first steps is getting a consultation with Dr. Udani, with our kinesiologist, with the doctors in the office, our physiotherapist, our nutritionist in the office. And after that consultation, you can decide if you'd like to do a full examination. So I encourage everybody, take advantage of our Google coupons. It's on our website. Take advantage to get a full checkup. That will involve a full history, posture, range of motion, orthopedic tests, thermal computerized scans, x-rays if necessary. And I encourage you to take advantage of that because we'd love to see you and we would love to help you. So as we're looking forward, one of the most important factors of success is who you hang with. You are the average of 5 people you spend your time with. And so spend time with people who are positive, who energize you, who are going to cheer you on and push you. And so sometimes that's family, and that's great. But sometimes we don't like to be pushed by family. We need somebody on the outside. And that's why you need a coach that is knowledgeable, that's able to give you that little nudge or push that you need. And that's what Dr. Udani and myself and Micheal, we're here to help you with. So get your cheerleaders, get your family on your side, but also get a professional, get a coach to help you get your new you, new year, starting it off, controlling the things that you can control to make yourself healthier in this year than you ever were before. If we've learned anything this year, we've learned that our health is the number one thing. And we know that if we have comorbidities, our health is lowered, we're at more risk of any disease. So take this year for the new year, new you to be something better, a better version of yourself. With that, go through this information, but also join our upcoming wellness talks. We are committed to having a talk 3 to 4 times a month online that you can share with friends and family, that's accessible at any time on Facebook, on YouTube. We're putting them on our website. We're committed to getting this information. Dr. Udani has multiple talks coming up. We're going to have multiple interviews just to help you be your best. And remember that constant learning. If we're going for that 6-month goal, the 5-year goal, the 10-year goal, the 25-year goal, it involves constant learning. So play these while you're making dinner. Play these while you're exercising, while you're cleaning the house. Find a way to listen and say, I can make one step better. So thank you for staying tuned with us. We encourage and look forward to seeing you again soon, seeing you at the office, and know in our hearts, our mission is to make a difference, help you and your family be able to manage these times and look forward to not just manage, but to be thriving in this new 2021. Thank you, Dr. Udani, and thank you, Micheal.